The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. And what do we have today? Well, after a drubbing yesterday, markets up a bit, up 15 points on the S&P cash volume, about 2 billion shares. Not exactly sure what happened. We were trading around 23.62. Message about a press conference at the White House. We moved about 10 points fairly quickly. Not exactly sure why that would bounce on that. Maybe there was something else going on. Anyway, we've got a lot going on. Fast markets are all about us. So let's try to get into this as fast as we can today. As always, we like coming to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And so what do we have happening today? Well, that's it. We've got a bounce. We had a kind of a weak bounce earlier in the morning, a stronger bounce out there. I've got some notes on why we may be bouncing, but we'll talk about that maybe in a little bit if we get any confirmation on it. But anyway, what do we have going on here? Well, we've got a bounce. Not a lot of volume, about 2 billion shares on the NYSE. So could this be the light volume bounce into tomorrow? Well, you never know. But we shall certainly take a look at this and what's happening out here. But not that much volume right now. As always, we like to start off the day with a little bit of history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1860, Abraham Lincoln, one-time U.S. president from Illinois, is nominated for the U.S. presidency by the Republican National Convention meeting in Chicago, Illinois. Hannibal Hamlin of Maine is nominated for the vice president. By the time Lincoln's inaugural on March 4th, 1861, 7 states had already seceded, and the Confederate States of America had been formally established with Jefferson Davis as its elected president. 1 month later, the Civil War began when the Confederate forces under General Beauregard opened fire on Union held Fort Sumter in South Carolina. So everybody always wants to say that we're always at bad straits in this country. Well, we had bad straits. It's nothing even close to it. What else is going on here? Was going to say, I had some emails about what options tell us about the market. And a lot of times we talk about, or some people talk about Max Payne. And Max Payne gives you a number, but it doesn't give you any context. What was most interesting about the action yesterday is every market maker for options ran for the hills. And I'm showing you a chart right now. Somebody talked about big tail risks out here in the market. And if the tail risks are in there, they're in certainly are in the futures market, because the option market guys literally ran away. I said in my newsletter this morning, in 1987, during the crash, the specialists at the New York Stock Exchange, back when most things actually did trade across a trading floor and there was a piece of paper handed to somebody. It wasn't all electronic like it is today. All the sell orders started coming in, and the guys just went to the bathroom, went and ate lunch, did everything except pick up that phone because they, why they're supposed to get in there and do their job, it doesn't pay well. And so they just ran away. Well, when you don't know what's going on, everybody does run away. And that's exactly what we had yesterday. Market makers having no idea of where the market was going, literally zeroed everything out that they could yesterday. There's almost no money to be made, down to 210 on the SPYs, up to almost 255, and let's call it 250 on the SPYs. Literally, this is the flattest expiration that I will have seen, I think, I started doing this in 2004. I had a big article in Stocks and Commodities magazine in 2000, in the Christmas issue of 4. And normally you're looking for the wisdom of crowds in these things. Well, with no one taking a guess, you can get all over the place on one of these. And it is kind of interesting the way that the market works is not exactly what you might think it is. But we'll see. We had one big down day. Is this the bounce with no volume? Well, we're going to have a lot of volume by the end of the day if we're going to call this a bounce with volume. But we shall see. Anyway, option market makers running for the hills. I don't know what we're going to do about breaks since we started late today, but maybe the people can say. But yeah, it is interesting. Anything from our engineer? And when we're going to do breaks, Mr. Engineer. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now we're back in. We got our everything set up great. We'll get back into the schedule.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Yeah, someone sent this to me, and this actually had come out about the time the market started bouncing, but I didn't know if it was this and or another issue, maybe with Trump's coming out and speaking. But apparently somebody went back and started looking into the testimony for our former FBI guy. And he said under oath on the 3rd that he never was asked. Of course, the news that precipitated all this was a Washington Post reporter who had a memo read to him that he had never seen. So this may all be some kind of smokescreen and yet another fake news story by the time everything and the dust blows over. But it would be very bad for Comey if he does have any documents like this, because he said under oath it never happened. And that was on May 3rd, and he hadn't met with Trump since then or talked to him since then. And that would mean that he was going to jail for lying to Congress, if anybody ever does. I know we've had a ton of people go in there and lie to Congress and never face any repercussions. So don't know about that, but I think that's what everybody's kind of bouncing on. I've got some emails, and that's what I was looking around that talked about it. I guess one of the ones I got here during the break was talking about they're playing on C-SPAN this testimony, and that's really kind of what fired up the entire market and bounced it. But to me, that's kind of a temporary thing so far. So we'll see how this does. My thoughts, like I said yesterday, the medium term, not in the next 5 minutes or an hour, the medium term, I think, is already in this market. And I'm thinking lower. So we'll take a look at it out here. Trading out at 2371.50. But yeah, at least a few notes that I have kind of say that that is what's popped the market here. Let's see if there's anything else. There we go. We got 2.1 billion shares. So, don't know about that. Anyway, we will go back to the SPY chart. Everybody went absolutely flat. So there's nothing. This is a good time if you ever have looked at Max Payne numbers to know when they mean something and when they mean nothing. And this is one time where it doesn't matter to the option market makers. They literally have gotten so flat that it doesn't make a dime's worth of difference whether this market goes up or down on most of what they have. A great deal of what we had today in the bounce was a effort to revive Apple, put the paddles on its chest and pop it. Options suggest on it, which are fairly clear. And one of the reasons why I was thinking the market was headed lower when we talked first about it on Thursday last week was that they were pointing at 150. Well, we got down there. I think they sold a bunch of puts. This thing now looks like it's going to home in at around 152 for expiration tomorrow, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. Up 15 points on the S&P cash. But anyway, if you look at this thing on the chart, you'll see that the amount of money to be made or lost in this thing is absolutely flat. It doesn't matter to the option market makers. They are literally out of the market unless this thing breaks below 205 on the SPYs and we'll call it almost 248 on the high side. So they're out of the picture for the next day. They didn't know what was going on. They amscrayed, and that's pretty much all there is to say about that. Okay, what do we have today going on? Okay, we're going to get some charts going on here. Let's take a quick look at Apple, see how much juice we have coming back up the other side. Okay. So yesterday on the downside, we had almost 51 million shares. Today on the upside, let's call it 25 million shares with an hour and 40 minutes left to go. What else do we have here? We had a lot of people kind of push market down this morning. Certainly a lot of the stocks that I'm looking at haven't come anywhere close to coming back to where they were. And so we'll keep an eye on this throughout this. But will this be the equivalent of the Dan Rather story when he made up all those documents and had a rather questionable source? Might be shades of fake news Dan Rather all over again. So we will keep an eye out on this. But to me, the market was looking for an excuse. It didn't really matter what it was yesterday. They were looking for an excuse to sell this market down. They got it. And now what are they going to do with it? Well, certainly it is not headed up on higher volume today so far. So we'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, we're looking at Apple. Let's take a look at some of the other big stocks of the NASDAQ out here that everybody just had to buy. IBM, one of those, wow, a whole lot of nothing and no volume. I think everybody's worried that Mr. Buffett will be out there selling again soon. AMZN, let's see how that one did on the reversal today. Pretty strong reversal and price action in this. So far, we've got 2.8 million shares up compared to the 5.2 million shares down yesterday. Something is rotten in Denmark. That's all I got to say about that. So, okay, what else do we have? Well, we'll look at Facebook and see how it returned. Did people come flooding in the gates on this one today? Pretty nice candles, and of course, everybody wants to buy these stocks. Down yesterday on 28.3 million shares, up today on 16.5 million shares. Quick eyeballing, 22 million shares to the upside today. So that's not looking good. What else do we have? Netflix, NFLX. See if this one so far. Now, again, we need to wait for the last 15 minutes of the day, but not a big deal. Netflix, 8.2 million shares on the way down, 4.2 million shares on the way up. What do we got, an hour and a half left today? They're going to have to get on their horses to get any juice into this on the upside today. What else do we have? Look at some of the other ones. NVIDIA, NVDA. What is this thing doing? Down yesterday on 32 million shares, up today on 22 million shares. That one may come a little bit closer. It's nowhere close to yesterday's opening price, though. So, again, a lot of stocks reporting. Got a few more tonight. We'll look at Cisco when we come back and how the market treated it on earnings from last night. And start looking at some of those 52-week highs, if there are any, over the last couple of days and see how those have reacted. But starting to look like a few of these setting up.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Well, I got 5 different emails on theories of why the market is bouncing from renewed, I'm now seeing on the TV, renewed hopes of tax reform is why the market is bouncing. Intervention by the Japanese in the currency trade by somebody else. There's 5 other theories, too. I just think a lot of people wanted to buy any lower price that they could find, and that's what sets up a market. You get more sellers each day, and the market kind of drips on down. But anyway, 153.14 on Apple. And, of course, there's nothing more important to the market than making sure Apple is at a high so that you can continue pushing stocks out, which I think we're kind of in. There's a little bit of distribution out here. What else do we have? I want to look at a handful of other stocks. Got a question to look at the SMHs real quick. You can always email me at path@tfnn.com or put a message in the den. Again, kind of an inside day for the body of the candle on the SMHs. Yesterday, the SMHs were down on 6.3 million shares, up today on 2.5. So we'll see how the volume comes in on the end of the day. But maybe this is it. Oh, we got another theory. More buyers than sellers. Yeah, for the last hour, more buyer than sellers. But yesterday, more sellers than buyers by a factor of what was it? 6 to 1, 8 to 1 yesterday on the advanced decline line. Okay, what else do we have? Anyway, just again, if you are thinking about shorting this market, probably not a bad time to start looking at it. I've talked about a pattern for a long time that is called the double repo pattern. And, man, we have a lot of stocks that look like maybe some of them have started already. Again, if you're not short already, what you look for are a whole bunch of days above the 3x3 displaced moving average, a close below it, a couple of closes above it, and then the next close below is when you really say it's time to bet the farm, if it does do that. But you want that confirmation underneath it. What we've had is the hard break, the coming off the highs with a sign of weakness, and today, certainly not a lot of buyers just yet, in the way, at least in volume. So we'll keep an eye on that. Keep your theories coming. Path@tfnn.com. Oh, we've got such great commenters in the Tiger's Den. I just sometimes it's just a privilege to sign up. 23.75. We're up 18 points in the S&P cash now. So kind of a big deal out here. What else do we have? Okay. We want to see some of the things going on my list. Wanted to see how Rent-A-Center was doing. I was looking at that this morning. This one had kind of come up with heavy volume on the 2nd of May on earnings. Did really well, went to $12.56. The reason I like to look at this one is not so much to trade it, although I have in the past, is actually looking at this for a sign that the market and or people are getting stretched. Not a bad-looking chart out here. You'd have the big sign of strength on the 2nd of May with 5 million shares. We're back into that with 561,000 shares. If the markets and or economy are going to get to roll, you look at Aaron's and Rent-A-Center and take a look at those with the possibility that maybe something's going on. Now, that's the second gap up on that one. And actually, you've had 3. And that would be the opposite side of this is, are any of those gaps back down below going to be a hit? And for the most part, higher interest rates are one big factor in the way that these stocks go higher. And one of the other reasons it could go lower was certainly the interest rates being fixed. Jack in the Box, we talked about this one coming and going higher. And one of the warning signs where these stocks actually went much higher, ran all the shorts out, which we had yesterday. And then this one even opening lower today. Wouldn't short this thing, but it does tell me that on a day like this where you had a stock with fairly decent earnings, you really had the opportunity for this one to show its strength today after earnings, and not so much. Everybody just piling back into the semi space and continuing to have a market that is incredibly narrowly led by a handful. Count them on one hand or count them on two hand market, which is always why you get kind of moves like we had yesterday. Let's take a look at a few other ones out here. Okay. Wanted to see a few other ones out here. Let's take a look at the IBB. Got a request to do that. Again, these stocks kind of in a triangle. You did have kind of a little lower low, but not any follow through here today. Now this one is reversed. The IBB yesterday, 1.168. So 100 and what is that? 1 million. Oh, there it is. 1.1. Let's just call it 1.7 million shares yesterday on the downside. Today, up with 435,000 shares so far. There's nothing wrong with that. The gap down, of course, on a lot of volume. But again, these things are kind of in triangles, and I don't see a breakout on that one. Let's take a look at the BIIB out here real quick. Okay, where am I at? I'm looking. Okay, I'm just lost looking through some of this stuff. Want to keep it 2.2 billion shares, by the way. Got to type it right. If I do that. Okay. Now, here's one. I mean, this thing's been in a downtrend. 251.17 was the low yesterday. You had 1.4 million shares. Up today on 762,000 shares. So up on half the volume. Doesn't look like there's there in the way of any patterns yet to suggest a turnaround. What else do we have in that space? Trying to think of a few others on my list. In fact, why don't we? Oh, we were going to talk about Cisco. I never got to it. Thanks for reminding me. CSCO. Well, we'll talk about Cisco when we come back. and we get to play the loser horn for it.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And Cisco down fairly hard. Certainly a lot of volume. If you are looking for a stock with volume, it is the one out here that does have the juice. Cisco, of course, makes routers, and I've been wondering when this thing was going to really miss. John Chambers, the previous CEO of this company, had really done everything in the world to hold the stock price up as he got out. And who knows what shenanigans went on in books. There's a quote, I can't remember who the guy was, but it's always every financial set of books has either been gently roasted or completely fried or burnt. I'll have to remember that, find that quote during the break. But it's not uncommon, especially when he got out. I think he's been selling some shares, if I remember the article right. But that wasn't what really made me think Cisco was vulnerable last night. Part of that was that Cisco makes very expensive routers that do everything in the world and can be upgraded and all that stuff. And bar none, if you want the best router, buy Cisco. The problem is you can now buy these at half the price. And if you're talking about buying, 100 of these, and they're $5,000 a piece, and you can buy many of them that do 90% of what these things do at half the price, whose do you buy? Well, that was one of the big problems in the 80s when Microsoft and Apple were going at it. Everybody, of course, Steve Jobs thought that he could push Macintoshes into all the businesses. And they found out that, well, while a Mac was very interesting and very easy to use, it cost twice as much. And there weren't a lot of business apps on it. So it had two critical flaws for business, and pretty much why they, by 1988, were almost out of business. Interesting technology, but again, didn't look at two very important things, which is, of course, the relative cost, and especially not on an individual basis. So when you look at companies out here, that's one of the things. If you're talking about a rental car company that has to buy a fleet of cars, a little bit of money is a lot of money to them, because if they buy 10,000 cars and one car is $200 over the other one, well, that's quickly a lot of cash is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, that is what I've heard from some people. I guess we're getting confirmation of that in the stock price today. That is just some people are getting skimpy and buying the less expensive routers, and some routers with different capabilities. VMC, is it VMC? No, I'm thinking of the other one. VCM? Yeah, I'll think about it eventually. Which was kind of semi-acquired by Dell and some other ones a while back, made virtual routers. And those things are really gaining in popularity in the rack spaces of a lot of these cloud systems. And I think that's another place that you can look for weaknesses in Cisco. Question about eBay. Haven't looked at that for a while. You can always email me. Question, could this be a short covering rally? I don't know. I think people are so used to just buying every single dip, and they're going to do it until it fails. The difference on this one is that we're at pretty lofty valuations up here. And again, how long did we fight for 15 points to the upside in the S&P cash with no volume? Now we've had volume to the downside. Now we're looking at today at 2.3 billion shares in the New York Stock Exchange tape, compared to, what was it, 4.5 billion yesterday? I think that's what it was. So we're going to bounce. And if there was a short squeeze to be had and a lot of nervous people, we'd probably see a lot of people that were shorting yesterday covering today. We'd see that in the volume, and why we have some decent volume, 2.3 billion shares. This is back to the very kind of mediocre, temperate volume that we went and made brand new highs on, when we probably should have had something like 5.2 billion shares on the NYSE. What do we have? 3.5, 3.6, 3.8. We were off by a good 20, 25% on the high end of what I thought we should see. So we'll keep an eye on this. Good thing to watch out here these days, of course, is the VIX. And that's going to tell us a great deal about what people think out there. Do they start buying downside protection? Does that go up? And like I said, that's probably going to be more interesting to me by the close than any bounce we have today. Because in the past, the VIX has gone right back down to the immediate lows. And my guess is by the close today, we're going to see a VIX that sticks higher. Somebody wanted me to look at, we were looking at eBay. Oh, well, that's very interesting. Ooh, let's look at this one. 15 million share, 16 million share high, April 5th, $34.75. 16 million shares 9 million shares on the 16th, down yesterday on 10.45 million shares, up today on 8.5. So you may get the same that you got on the way down. Again, a lot of these stocks had 10 to 15 days on the upside of the 3x3 displaced moving average or the 9-day moving average. We've gotten the closes below it. Now, what we can see is a couple of days where this thing maybe goes higher, closes above a 9-day or a 3x3 displaced moving average, then closes back down again. That close back down again is not just a sell signal for a couple of days. That one's a sell signal back to the previous low of April 24th. So if you're looking at stocks like this that came down on fairly decent energy, April 5th down to April 24th, you came and gapped down, had a lot of energy. You went up with about 20% lighter energy. You hit the high with almost half the energy on May 16th, and you came down. Volume picked up yesterday. You know, is it the biggest volume forever, 28 million shares back on the 20th of March? No, but it's good. But that's how you kind of start off. You don't instantly just the barn doors open up and all the animals run out. And again, as I said a couple of days ago, not always do you come off these highs with volume. A lot of times it takes a little while for the markets to roll around and start deciding that, yes, we are going down. 2373 on the S&P cash. In the den, we have, what is this? Says, but Kramer says Cisco is now a high-growth software company.
Bring me the head of the false prophet, Jim Cramer.
Okay. I just had to play that. That's what, 5 years old now? Yes, it is. Thank you very much. VMware. WMB or VMW. There we go.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And wanted to see how a few of these stocks that just had 52-week highs have done. Of course, Agilent came off fairly quickly. Did I actually show VMware already? I don't think so. Somebody in the den reminded me of the stock that I was trying to think about, which is VMware. Then we'll get back to the others here in the last segment. Down a little bit on Cisco News, actually doing a little bit better. Did come off yesterday. Volume did pick up slightly. But this is an alternative to Cisco, and I think it's going to do well. I would love for this thing to pull back to about $85. I think this thing would be a screaming buy if the market does turn around maybe close to the end of the summer back at that level. They make routers that compete with Cisco, but they are virtual routers, i.e. you just plug a bunch of cables into it, and it doesn't really matter what the cables go to. It will automatically switch to the right cable when you contact it. But you can control it from a computer somewhere else, which is exactly what everybody loves. In the old days, you had a guy back there that would pulling cables out of one, putting in another, and hopefully getting them all in the right spot. This one, you just plug them all in, and you figure out, you click a little button on your computer screen, and it reroutes to whichever one it needs to. Doesn't really matter which port they're plugged into. It's just kind of like a big switchboard, but kind of like the gal that used to plug things in. Of course, that was every day. When you just set up a router, you do it once. But if you need to change IP addresses or you need to route to different banks of server farms and take one down, bring up another one, you just all automated. Just a click of a button or write a script that turns all these routers on and off. And they've done very well. The problem with them is they've always had this lurking ability to see another company that owns a bunch of their shares put them out on the market, and I'd have to do some more research. I haven't seen what's going on in that one for a while. We'll see how Mr. AMAT did in the last couple of days. Down yesterday on 20 million shares, up today on 14.3 million shares. Could be a lot worse. Certainly only got half of it back on that volume, though. We already looked at Amazon. Let's take a look at Avago, the big supplier to Apple and some of these other cell phone companies. This one of the better candles out here today. Almost could call this one a railroad track, depending on what you were looking at on this one. Down yesterday on 3.2 million shares, up today on 2.3 million shares. Of course, it's much more interesting. Alibaba had earnings and actually were fairly decent. This thing did open lower yesterday, which was kind of interesting to me. Actually, kind of washed out earlier in the day. Came back fairly good, and volume's fairly good on this. But again, still lower than yesterday's high, which is not good. See some other ones out here. BBRY. Everybody talking about this. Again, these stocks that are always perpetually dead always have a good chance to run some people out. Eventually, this thing will be like Radio Shack and just go out. You just never know when they run out of tricks to fool the public to buying these companies that seem to be weak. CRM, I think, is out after the bell tonight, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll see how this does. Down yesterday on 5.6 million shares. Today, 5.8 million shares on a doji. Again, going into earnings, I think, after the bell. You can hear those earnings with Tom O'Brien in the 4 o'clock hour Of course, he'll be with us for the next 2 hours. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.